They said it couldn't be done. They said the world would never accept a cookie this long. Or a churro, and probably not a pretzel either. They also said, under no circumstances should those really long and delicious treats be wildly affordable. To which we said, but we already made them. And they are. Introducing the incredible new foot-long sidekicks. Get one at Subway today.
Welcome back, everyone, to the North American Challengers League. I am here with Beatdown. I am Mazel, and we are getting into our second game of our second series. Feels like we're about halfway through with the day. If we do get a third series, I would be very excited. But DSG fall triumphantly, it feels like, against Fear. And it was something where they started off strong and couldn't keep that momentum upbeat.
I was going to say, I feel like if you ask them, they wouldn't think it's triumphant. It probably feels pretty bad. But I see where you're getting at, and I think we're likely going to see a different strategy in Game 2, not just because all 5 of those champions aren't available to them anymore,
No way.
but also because, yeah, I know, it's crazy, right? It's almost like Fearless. We're playing in Fearless, right?
Crazy.
Yes.
If anybody needs an update on how Fearless works, obviously we are adapting the system this year, but it is something where if you play a champion, that team can no longer play said champion. If both teams play a champion in 2 games, the third game, that champion cannot be played whatsoever. So it forces you to adapt. It forces you to be fluid with the compositions that you like. And that's where we've seen a lot of teams come out with strategies that they feel really confident in that are those one-win combinations.
Right, so it is really interesting to see how many different drafts people can come up with instead of, kind of cycling together and using a lot of the same champions. That's definitely part of the idea here, and it is that test for both coaches, players alike, being able to really make use of some of their champ pools and see how many different kind of styles they can run in a series. And I mean, to be fair, I think in best of 3 and game 3s, you kind of see the effect of it, but really when we get into playoffs, game 5s, that's when it's going to get crazy.
Yeah, if we do have the band champions graphic, I do want to bring that up if possible. As I do want to take a look at what is not available. DSG went with a very particular composition for game number 1. The Nocturne Oriana did not work out for them, but none of those champions will be available for this next game. A lot of late game scaling that is now off the table for Fear. All of those picks going to be gone, which means that, trying to find something else that works, especially for Chad and Toasty, very important.
Right, and it'll be interesting to see how DSG bounce back going into the second game. I think overall it's really important for this team to be able to get their bearings, because remember, going into the series, match score, it's 1-3. These are some of the teams where, you start questioning about whether or not, or how the end of their split is going to look like, because remember, you need to be top 8, you need to be not 9th, not 10th, to avoid that promotion relegation tournament. And if we just talk about the standings overall, DSG, I mean, they're kind of close. Another one more bad week, and suddenly they could be bottom 2.
Yeah, again, you get the one matchup every season, at least for this split, into the other team, but also you got to make sure you're getting wins so you don't, at least so you make it to the playoffs, right? We're going to get into draft now, though. And there is not a switch up of sides. DSG are going to be on blue side. We got Fear on the red side. And we'll see if that draft strategy does change, right? And I think that's super important to keep an eye on, because it did feel like there were still those good communications early, good idea of how to play the game from DSG, but it's about that execution level needed. And these guys are some of the best that we've had in our league coming together for DSG for the first time.
And something, too, to note that now, usually, Ash, we see it as a red side ban, but that actually frees up a ban for Fear, because now there's the threat of them potentially picking it as it's no longer available to DSG. And wondering what else Fear are going to use that ban for, and whether or not Smolder is going to make it through this time around.
Yeah, that's something that in game number 1 I was concerned that we didn't actually see it. I would be super curious to see which team is willing to make that foray into the Dragon. We did get that Seraphine ban yet again. It's a lot of our players have these 1 or 2 champions that you, even in Fearless, you don't even want to give them that one time. Nope. We do get that Callista ban away in the end by DSG too.
Yeah, and another good champion there from Lens. You just want to get rid of some of the really strong marksmen at the moment here. And I'm expecting it to be a smolder once again. And yeah,
Yep,
it's
there
just
it
going to
is.
go ahead and do
I
that.
want to see it, man. I don't want it to be banned.
I just like
Fine.
hearing the noise when he ults. That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
They didn't have to
Sounds
go that
good.
hard.
No, they really didn't, but they did, and that's fine.
I really appreciate that. They did that for us.
They did that specifically for us.
Yeah.
This was also another pick that was obviously taken off the board. We had so many ADC bans in that first series, or the first game of the series, but the Varus is locked in. So utility plus build versatility coming through for DSG early.
Right, and definitely a strong champion, even though you don't have the Ashe to pair it with or the Karma. There are still plenty of other combinations that you can go for. It'll be interesting, too, because you see that Lucian hover. Fear could easily be going for that Lucian Milio combination. Yeah, it's a really easy lock-in. It's one of the strongest bot lane duos so far. There's definitely a meme, some questions, whether or not it can be piloted well in the West, but we've seen some good moments from this duo in Challengers League.
And I've actually liked it more than the traditional Lucian-Nami combo. I feel like you get more
better. It's
versatility in your plays for Milio, and you also provide so much more utility in terms of the team fights and things like that too. So definitely want to see this duo for Lens and Dabshin really come alive and well. To try to have some strength there, but it is something where I get to watch a lot of really good Lucian in the LPL.
Yeah,
we'll see if Lens can stand up to Tax. Yeah, a little bit. Aatrox is locked in, as well as that Senna for DSG.
Yeah, and that's an interesting one. I mean, along with the Olaf, it was banned away second rotation from Tenacity. So it ends up being a pretty easy pickup for him. He's comfortable blinding it considering what's still available. And I like Sejuani for two reasons. One, I think it's a good pickup for Chad. Champion is fine, but also that's a good denial from Perry. Very comfortable on the champion himself. It is a really good combination with the Aatrox top side, Sedge, melee top, and things like that.
Yeah,
and it's a good engage tool that they probably wanted.
A big ban that I feel like needs to come out here for Fear is the Poppy, because I feel like Poppy right now is getting so much value in this composition, and Perry is very happy to take that one too. It is the Vi first to try to take down that single target lockdown. The Akali is also the ban, so try to take away Toasty's comfort champions too.
100%. And Sedge Akali is really good because, again, melee with the E passive, it is a really nice combination. The Azir ban is an interesting one because, as you said, Poppy is still up and available, but it's going to be a little hard because this Poppy won't have a dive buddy. So I think it's okay that they chose to take the Azir out instead, since the champion's just been seeing a lot of play and is also very strong.
We do get the Jace locked in for Toasty. I guess you still have some flexibility there, but I would
it could be Philip. Who
like,
knows?
It could be Philip.
Yeah.
I would expect that this counter pick to be pretty important for Fear, why they're saving it to the last years as well, but just trying to make sure that they can have some flexibility into the final two picks of DSG. Yep. Right now, you're looking at trying to find ways to solidify for DSG, and a little bit of side lane pressure can go a long way. You get the LeBlanc locked in.
That's an interesting one because you do need... We did talk about dive buddies, so I think it's usually not something we see mid in general, but it's a pick that Young is very competent and comfortable playing, especially because you have that ability to not really have to play front to back. You can go over walls, you can cheat terrain, and you can do it so that you can take out somebody like Lens, like Toasty. You have a quick one-shot capability.
Do really like the trundle here from Perry. He's been cooking it up, and especially here against the Sejuani. It's really big. You can disrupt the Lucian in the calling as well, but also after he dashes, that's an easy pickup kill there too. And Fear looking for their final piece here. Will it end up being the flexibility of the Jace? It looks like it is so. So Talia locked in for Toasty.
So it actually, we joked, but it ended up being Jace top in the end there for Philip. So you got a good amount of range, poke, and all-in potential from this team that Fear have gotten for themselves. And also, I like that Toasty is on a champ like this because he has that ability to roam, use their Weaver's Wall, affect other parts of the map. And I mean, looking at bot side, I suspect a lot of attention will be paid on that side of the map.
Yeah, I think so as well. And I think Toasty being on another pick that gives him those angles we were highlighting from him is extremely important. That's also where you give some mechanical champions to Young. he's going to try to stunt on you. And I think this LeBlanc is going to be a power pick for Young if he can find the execution, if he can find that combination with Perry as well.
Yeah, and interesting, something to note too about DSG's comp, the Trundle. The interesting thing about it is that you're really, this champ, along with the Aatrox, is really just here to make space. It's less about the engage and just to give Minui and Plume on these marksmen some breathing room so that in these late game fights, they're able to actually get their DPS off, not have to worry about getting all in by Sedge, Lucian, Talia, you know?
And now we're feeling like DSG are coming to bat with a more stable comp. Not as much execution needed here. A little bit more stability.
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you.
Comp, I think, is might be a little hard to play. So maybe stable is not exactly what I call it. But also, if you get a kill...
Oh my god. Oh!
Yeah, he has a flash.
Nice little flash burned early. Well, we'll figure out exactly if this stable comp is going to be anything close to that. But if you want to see who, or have a say in who wins,
Yeah, who do you think is going to
go ahead and spam in chat, DSG or Fear. As it was Fear who came back with a victory in game number 1. In a holistic fashion, it feels like towards the end. And DSG just trying to keep their heads above water, trying to get to a 2-3 score line, which I know Perry was very confident they could handle this competition today.
And bringing it back to DSG, like you said, this comp has more scaling tools compared to what they had in that first game. You're running Vara Senna, so you're going to have a lot of DPS later on. And it really is just going to be about absorbing that first rotation of spells, the all-in from Fear. So in that way, DSG's win cons are kind of switched up with what Fear had to deal with in game 1. But as long as they can make space, as long as they can allow Minui and Boom to do damage, and Young to play fights a little differently, that's pretty much how DSG are looking to win this one out. And Young playing this matchup, which ends up being pretty strong into a lot of lanes, also has this advantage because Toasty had to burn his flash early on. So I'm wondering if he's going to be able to get a push, try to roam, see if he can be the one to affect the map, not this Talia.
We see Minui and Poom trying to get that level 2 before Lens and Daption. That's where, the combo does truly come alive. But Young able to have that pressure on Toasty in mid lane too. We did get the mirrored starts for both junglers. I do like the movement from Chad though. He went with the one camp red side into the blue side so he can at least be here for bot lane if he needs to be.
Yeah, part of it too is that you're really afraid of getting invaded by this Trundle. So you're trying to mix up the clear a little bit. And that's why I do like this decision. I mean, this is the angle. Perry, he recamped into insta-invade, and just like that, they see him. There isn't really a play for him here, and that's kind of it.
Perry will be spotted out. Chad does not want this skirmish early. Perry is terrifying at level 3 on the Trundle in these kind of tight corridors.
Still, I mean, because Chad saw that because Perry saw that Chad had both buffs and 12 CS, he knows the Wolves are up and available, and he is going to be able to walk away from something, which is still a pretty good feeling for him.
Wow, Perry. He's just going to leave the 2 Wolves
Wow,
there.
Chad is still here.
Yeah, Chad just he's trying to play mind games right now. He's trying to figure out what can he do right now. And the Scuttle Crab might have been the play, but now the play is try to engage on the Perry. Takes a lot of damage there. Does have that Frozen Tundra to get to, and back to the Scuttle Crab.
And you've effectively wasted so much of Perry's time. Yeah, he's going to be able to get Crab, but he still has an entire bot side of camps to go for here. And Chad, he's just playing Warder, essentially. Even though he's only gotten 3 camps to his name as well, the idea here was just to make sure this dive bot lane can't happen and ensure that Lens and Daption are in a solid spot after these first couple of waves.
That's the most important part. And the game plan's starting to be seen by Fear. DSG need to get their game plan going for themselves, which I feel like is right as rain. They're just going to be looking for the farming. Actually, a double Scuttle Crab looks to be on the menu right now for Perry, but he is going to go for a bit of invade here. He doesn't have vision, actually, but will end up getting that blast gun, or at least not blast gun, the Scryers. Perry steals away the Chicky Duggies. He even gets the small ones. Oh, no. Okay. Chad got a couple of them, at least. He's not going to go too hungry here.
It is tough because Perry had the opportunity to go for that other invade because, again, like in the 1v1, you're terrified of this Trundle. does mean that Chad spending all that time wasting Perry's time did also cost him as well. But it ends up being worth it in my opinion. And I do like that understanding, that willingness to sacrifice a little bit to ensure that your laners are in an okay position in this early game, especially against something like a Trundle.
And a back immediately comes out from Fear, meaning that the Grubbies will go to Perry, and he's going to actually try to stop mid first. With Toasty pushing up. A little bit of trouble, yeah. Splash is just about to come up. The pillar? Oh, it just appeared. Okay, Toasty is just going to go down to first blood. A little bit of spectator bug there, but DSG actually come out on top.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. The pillar did actually happen. And first blood over to Young is so big as well. Taking advantage of the flash timer from Toasty. I really like that decision from Perry, just because like he was already going to get these grubs anyway. So he doesn't really have to worry about when he's going to get them. Instead, wants to set up Young for success.
And you can see that active decision-making going through from him, right? Like, he started, he was sitting here, and then some kind of communication came through that, oh, he doesn't have flash still, and they immediately go there to punish it. It does end up being our first trade of objectives, it feels like, of the day.
Yeah.
And you will get those 3 grubs over to DSG for the 1 dragon to Fear.
Wow, almost a steal. Dewey cut pretty close with that piercing arrow, but overall, it is the trade. Fear get their first Drake when realistically they shouldn't have, but I like that decision. I think that decision from Perry is fine. It's okay to give up the first Drake, partially because of what we said in the last game. That extra experience. With Perry already being as ahead as he is, that is going to lead to a faster level 6. And he'll have access to that subjugate. Means snowballing, or at least allowing Perry to continue this lead, I think is a fine trade for the Drake.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think any skirmish power you have there is going to be big. Poom gets a lot of his health bar taken out. That's the dueling power of this Lucian and Melio. Now Manui's in some trouble here. Toasty makes it out. Barely any help. Poom gets a kill on bot side.
Wow, really nice flash coming through there. And it is going to be, I mean, it costs you both your flashes bot lane and all of Poom's sums. But it's worth it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Toasty.
Of course.
Yeah, that's a bit of a stay too long, it feels like. Young is going to pick that one up. Second kill for him. And now Perry's looking in mid lane, looking to invade as well onto Chad's jungle.
Yeah, Chad, you can just clearly see him mid trying to hold the way for his mid laner who doesn't have teleport, but not able to make it happen. So he's just going to go ahead and snag that himself. And we're going to see the replay. We're going to see the first trade that led Toasty to that low health bar state. And that just feels bad. You land the seismic shove, you get the stun, but the ethereal chains, they still end up getting that second proc.
And then just feeling like he has to stay with the wave crashing, and Young will take advantage of that every single time.
Yeah, I think like his jungler is there, so he's thinking, oh, I can survive this, like because that's a huge wave that he'd be sacrificing. So it's a risk, but ultimately he gave another kill to Young. And you lost that wave anyway.
Chad was still not level 6 either, so was not really able to provide any long distance help at least. And now he will have level 6, so we'll see if he gets active on the map. And I think that's a conversation now that we need to kind of focus in on is DSG do have a lead. They are setting up just like they did game number 1, but they have a lot more answers, it feels like, as time goes on. They aren't just purely an early game team. Fear is going to look for an early game fight on Tenacity. Nice flash from Chad, but it'll immediately be responded to by Tenacity. And meanwhile, mid lane, nice dodge by Toasty.
Yeah, but he's got an ult to get away, and that's huge. Because usually you want this ultimate to be able to set up a play. And guess what? They're going top, like you said, and there's no way Toasty's going to be able to match it.
Perry has an angle here, but I don't think he wants to go into no vision into the alcove gameplay situation there. He will actually stop the backs from Fear. They want to go on to Tenacity. They know he doesn't have anything. They try to get him. Glacial Prison goes in, but both Chad and Philip feeling not super confident there.
Yeah. I don't really know what to make of that one. But it looked, either way, Glacial Prison for nothing. Which is pretty tough for Fear in this early game because they haven't been able to really find value out of some of their ultimates early on. It's a 3-0 lead for DSG. They're up 2,000 gold. Like you said, Lennon, we saw this movie in game 1, but I think the script is a little different this time. We're working with different leads, if you will.
Yes, it is a new and improved cast, it feels
Yes, yes.
Toasty is having some serious troubles against Young here in mid lane, though. About down 20 CS. And doesn't seem like there's a way to get yourself out of this hole you've dug, even if you are Talia.
Wow, Boom even trying to get a little bit in on the mid lane action there. And Perry now is going to be able to get the next 3 grubs, which means he's going to have 6. And as Trundle, you're likely going to have an easy time hitting these turrets. Young, who's had Prio this entire game, is going to be the same. So these Void Mites, they're going to be doing a lot of work.
Yeah, just the pathing really not working out for Fear, and this composition with the way that they play and the side lane pressure that they have with 6 grubs, very terrifying. Chad just willing to give that one up. It looks like they're probably just going to try to play around the bottom side and go for this dragon. It is up in about 20 seconds, and there will be a response from DSG too.
Right, so the thing that's worth noting too, you have most of DSG just returning to lane off of a recall. Young is walking now. Manui and Poom have also spent their gold. So fighting this might actually be pretty good for them. Like, they are in a pretty good spot when you consider stats, things like that. So it's just about whether or not they actually want to make it happen. They are going to be late, but once Young clears that mid wave, there is an angle. Like, it hasn't been started.
We saw Chad immediately come out of lane, sync up with Action as well to try to get this here. The vision is put down, but will be cleared out swiftly, and DSG will claim another objective. So it seems like Fear is saying, we're fine playing the waiting game here.
Yeah, they got to let that one go, but the tough thing about the waiting game this time around is this doesn't get easier for them. Because the thing with, I said it in the draft, DSG, really good at creating space for members like Manui and Poom, and there's really no one to do anything about Young as well. So because there's no response, when you're dealing with like Varus, Senna, who are going to be really strong later on, it just feels terrible.
And Tenacity knew there was something up there. Chad just lets himself seen just a little early. And will mean nothing comes of it. And top side, even though Chad has tried again. Got the TP now coming in. That's going to be Toasty joining. Immediately pulls DSG off.
All right, that's perfectly fine. You get that teleport basically for free off of Young's roam timer. And that means Young has a teleport that he can use for a play as well. So it's just been a really good job from Young and DSG keeping Toasty Alex in lane the entire time on this Talia where you usually want to roam. You usually want to have an impact elsewhere. But Toasty's just kind of been landlocked.
Lens does end up popping the barrier. Unfortunately, doesn't block anything. The heal also got popped by Daption. Look how much the Mites are doing here. It's still prior to 14 minutes in. So all these plates are going to be given a ton of gold over to Manui. And Lens almost dies. Does have to get Manui's flash, though, as the turret was starting to tick. But it does mean the pressure is still on bot side. And a 4th turret plate almost goes over.
Ooh.
It does at the end, too.
Another kill almost goes over as well. And at this point, you got to imagine that first brick is just going to be easily picked up by Manui and Poom. Another insane gold lead by lane. It's really complimenting what DSG have accomplished so far in this early game. Fear are in a very difficult position. The only real plays that they've had are topside, and Tenacity's done such an amazing job of just dodging ganks, absorbing this pressure, and making sure he doesn't actually give away his life.
That is the big difference maker so far early on here. Also, Young getting those early kills just plays to the strengths of DSG's composition in game number 2. We did get the Sundered Sky completed for Perry, so a lot of damage, backing up a lot of sustainability, and they want to punish Philip. I don't know if they have the angle to catch him. Does have the World Ender speed, but it's the turret that they want to maybe get some more plates. They get one more.
Feels good. Any bit of extra gold you can get before those plates fall, it feels amazing. And that first brick, as we saw in the picture-in-picture earlier, did go down, and this is it. Young, that TP big advantage.
He's got that item spike differential too. Toasty in some trouble here. He's going to Weaver's Wall his way out, and he does make it away.
Whew. That was a close call. Loses half his health in the process. But he is able to live and tell the tale. With that TP, it gives Fear an opportunity to go for Herald. You're seeing the pings, and because Young has no way of joining, and he's a lot of DSG's gold, they feel confident about going for this.
Chad not feeling as super confident to take this Rift Herald. Does put down that control ward to make sure he can secure it. It looks like Perry's going to let this one go. The rest of Fear on his way. Actually, the Tundra comes through. He's going to clear that ward. Chad not even close to taking this here and needs to back away now because the rest of his team is in awkward positions.
They look like they want to fight this.
Oh, big damage from Philip. That was huge. Chains of Corruption also going wide there.
Oh
See,
no.
Chad, he gets it. I don't think he's going to get the eye because Philip, he does distract him. Philip will go down to the flash combo there from Tenacity. Chad makes it out with the eye. Manui gets the kill in the end too. DSG trait.
And another objective finally goes the way of Fear, but DSG are still very happy with how this one turned out, especially because Chad, okay, he's fine. He's gonna walk.
Saved the dash, had it ready to go as Soul's starting to stack there for Poom as well. But DSG feel like a different team this game number 2. They had that early lead, but they didn't toss it away. And they have a standard comp, it feels like, at least more standard. But it's more so about the decisions that have helped them get to this point, right? That topside focus to get those grubbies. The fact that they've been able to play the map so well. The TP plays, trying to make something happen. It's very, very intuitive, it feels like, for the team to be working together.
And the thing that's so tough about this game for Fear is this feels so smothering against DSG this game. And the reason for that is it's just that anytime Fear try to go for anything, it comes at a cost. Even that Herald, it cost Philip his flash and his life. Fear can't take anything for free, but anything DSG go for, all right, it's open season. You're really just under no threat. Even now, Chad is trying to invade, trying to see what he can take. All right, he can't take very much.
I don't know why you just put a G.I. Joe reference for DSG in my head, but thanks for that.
I did?
DS Joe.
Sure.
It's Manui in some trouble there mid lane, though, and that's some of the difference that can happen when you get the poke damage down for Fear. Does a TP into the Dragon Pit. Tenacity, he has an angle. He has not been seen just yet, but the TP did.
And now that he's spotted, DSG will have to do this the old-fashioned way. Manui, low mana, no ult, but still plenty of firepower available.
Philip is trying to run away. Philip, he gets a good combo. Dawning Shadow, Chad's over the edge. Look at Young, though. Young is trying to find the backline access. Meanwhile, Chad just gets burned down, and some of that sustain really coming to bite Fear. As Toasty, he's about to go down. Poop gets one more stack, but gets blasted, and it's traded right back.
Oh, I don't know if they're done yet. Tenacity. Okay, I think they are walking away. And Fear, they tried to make something happen. Philip looks like he's looking for something. Wow, that was close. But it's still just going to be the Drake over to DSG in the end. And now they can start their stacking. Because that was one of the best looks Fear have gotten, I think, in this game so far. But the gold lead continues to increase in Disguise's favor. Now it's 5.5, and we're going to see this fight again. Really, part of the saving grace is that there is no chain of corruptions here for Manui. He's low on mana as well, so his DPS this fight a little less than we're expecting to see later on into the game. But it was a good move from Fear to try and take down Perry. Unfortunately, Trundle, he is really hard to get rid of, especially when he has the flash up. So all that attention means the rest of your damage dealers, like Tenacity, boom, they're just having the easiest time running down Fear.
I also think Fear just kind of left their back door completely unlocked and open, and Young just busted it. It was like, hey, guys!
Hey!
You remember
What's
me?
up?
And I think that's something where, all that focus over onto Tenacity on the other side, or onto Perry, rather, to try to save Philip. Maybe something else goes awry there. You can find a different angle, but it is the choice they have made, and DSG will gladly take that. About 5,000 in the lead now as well.
It's a pretty hefty lead at that. And an important bounce back there from DSG. It's not happening, as confidently as Perry said it might, given how game one went. But this is an important adaptation coming through from this team, who, again, not so hot in the standings. Honestly, 1 or 2 more bad weeks away from going to that promotion relegation tournament. And it would be a distance to fall for a team who are the returning champs. Yeah, it's different players, but this org was able to do a lot in Challengers League last split. And this time around, these are players in the league who we know have some potential. We said a lot of good things last year about Perry, about Young, the improvement of the Nui. We know how good Tenacity is. So to finally see this kind of come together at least a little bit here as we approach the second half of Spring Split is a good thing.
It truly is. Again, I like that you bring up, the fact that DSG were our reigning champions this last year as well, but also the fact that they were willing to kind of keep Mr. Young here and try to build around him to some extent, try to find strength around him, because this is a guy who was playing for Golden Guardians in the LCS, and when he came away from that, he was like, maybe I didn't learn so much, maybe I didn't have a great debut, but it's about learning the inner workings, the systems that are there to improve players, and I think we have seen that work for this guy.
Yeah, and I really want to add to, actually, we got to fight, so.
He's out. Oh, he missed the, oh no.
It's okay, my eyes are closed, guys.
I wasn't looking, I didn't see anything. What are you talking about?
Nothing happened. Whoa, Chad, gray screen, what happened? Surely it's a bug.
Oh, let's not get a replay of that one.
yeah. Maybe we don't watch that one back.
It is a situation where DSG are just running away with it, though.
Yeah. I mean, they could realistically start the Baron if they really wanted to. The only downside is that outside of like Perry and a little of Tenacity, even though he's going like the Hydra build, they are kind of squishy. And that might be the one angle Fear have to get a successful team fight, because they have a lot of burst damage. If DSG start the Baron, and as it takes quite a while to actually take down this season, maybe he gets enough damage off Lennon, maybe Fear take advantage of that. They win a team fight. It's kind of the only thing I'm seeing.
Yeah, I'm just curious at how, especially that Fearless is a situation that we're dealing with now. The way that first game went for Fear and trying to find another situation that worked for them just didn't go their way. Speaking of not going their way, Philip's going to force his flash over the pillar there. And you do still see Fear's ideas, right? Like, I do think that the combo of the solo lanes with Chad is really important in this game, but it all came down to those early bloods going over, Young getting a little bit of gas in the tank, it felt like.
Yeah, and he certainly got some gas in his tank this game, Lennon. You can see, and he's at the 2-item mark. He went for the Void Staff second, so that he's looking to take down everybody. Not just the squishies, he's also got Chad's number 2. He's building some MR, and he's looking to punch right through that.
And we're getting, second item spikes here. About to get a third dragon for DSG. We see a lot of map play going down for Fear right now as well. Just try to stay away from the pressure points. And I think that does bring home something, but you also need to make sure you're not just losing your base, because you have all the grubs coming out, or all the mites rather. So a tier 2 tower immediately falls for DSG.
Yeah, it's a tower taken topside, but the trade is just unbalanced once more for the side of Fear. So we're just seeing, as they knock down all these structures, the benefit of Perry skipping that first break in favor of early stacking the grubs. And because of what they've been able to earn in the meantime, this is the easiest soul point I've seen. And I have a feeling the soul is going to be just as easy. Hot take.
Hot take. I think you might be dead on there. We did get the reset coming out for Fear now, though, and it just feels like Young looking for the kill. Oh! The 3-man stop of the backs. Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty nice that you delay the back like that. It does give you an opportunity for DSG to push mid and try to set up some vision. You're actually seeing, because of that delayed back, Phillips delayed his recall, Chad delayed his recall, and it's just free reign for Poom and Perry to just go ahead and clear up whatever wards they might see and place whatever they see fit.
Ooh, there's the U-moves pop. They have sent it out Chad, and he's going to go the other way. He also missed his release for President again, but he dodged him.
Yeah, dodge. That's what we're going to say. But DSG, again, Grub's doing work. That's an instant tier 2, turret, out of the picture. And I don't see why they won't be able to just take this next one.
Chains of Corruption did go through, cleanse used, or at least not cleanse, rather. It did get used, though. As now Young got collapsed on by Toasty and Phil. He just ran straight into Chad. Wait.
That's unlucky.
Philip goes with the shutdown. That's a lot of gold. You get the catch out on Manui. Oh my god, Lens is walking straight into melee units, though, and that's not good. Tenacity healing so much. That Sundered Sky, it's not going to be enough. Tenacity gets shut down. Oh no, peek down.
This is the angle. They end up bursting Young. They burst Tenacity. It's now or never. You got to start this Baron right this second. Perry, you can see it. He's trying to heal up a little bit, but his health is low. He doesn't have the ult. This is going to be a risky one.
I mean, that Baron is doing work right now on a Fear 2. I don't know. This is so dicey, but Fear know that this game really relies on a moment like this. Perry is sitting on the other edge. The tension you could cut with a butter knife right now. It's going to be one going down. Manui's out of the fight. It's traded right back. The Baron is on the side of DSG. And Young has TP'd into the fight. I don't think Chad finishes this. And they have literally delivered a big, spicy purple worm to DSG on a silver platter.
And one of the last hopes Fear had ended up being their doom. It looked like it was possible. It looked like maybe they could have made this comeback happen, but instead it is an ace for DSG. The Baron buff in their back pockets, and surely they're going to march towards a win. But I mean, we're going to see this one again. You're calling it out, Lennon. Baron is doing work. Manui is taking advantage of his range and this build to just lay down as much damage as he can. Boom. Same thing. Using your range, using whatever damage you can to try and buy time for Young to teleport. And as soon as he gets here, this fight was over.
So, somebody on Disguise needs to go ahead and get a jersey delivered to 999 Baron Place right now, please, because it's literally a DSG jerseyed Baron here. It did so much damage and just picking off members back and forth.
And we saw in the picture-in-picture a little bit, the mid inhibitor is going down. It wasn't actually the finish here, but I mean, this is still dire straits for Fear. Shout out Kai for the zoom in. And we're pretty much one fight away from this one being done. So mistakes like that don't happen twice. And unless Fear can create that, we're going to game 3, Lennon.
It's looking like it as well. Hey, we asked for it. All right?
We did.
We're getting
this is
what we asked
wanted.
for. This is what the people want.
It's us. We're the people.
Yeah, we are. Candy Rickrun did just get completed for Chad. I don't think it matters that much now, but the Baron buff is going to be pushing in bot side. There is a Dragon Soul coming up now as well for DSG, so they got to pick their cakes to eat.
Yeah, the thing is, I think DSG get to have their cake and eat it too. I'll be real, Lennon.
Well, what kind of cake?
Cheesecake. I like cheesecake.
But then there's like multiple cakes, because then you get the Baron buff.
Okay, so hear me out. They get to have their cheesecake and eat their ice cream cake.
Nice. I like it. I like it.
Okay, great.
I'm sold on it. All right, the siege is continuing here. No, okay, Perry getting hurt a little bit there, bud. As he's just going to go out of it with his health bar intact.
Not even close.
Maybe not as much that you can say about Chad, as he is gone off this earth.
And, dude, Perry is just healing. Does he have Warlocks?
Oh,
what am I looking at?
Toasty gets caught, and that signals the end. We're going all three for our second series of the day as the swarm of mites, said Twitch chatters, take over. It is all DSG favored in game number 2. Over 12,000 gold in the lead, and a stark contrast to game number 1. They got the lead, and this time they delivered it straight to Fear, and that's a 1-1 series.
And we're going to game 3, Lennon. I got to say, this is a better look from Disguised, especially you got to give credit to Perry for how he played out that early game. I like the decision to sacrifice the first Drake with the explicit intention of going for all 6 grubs. The attention he put mid lane to really let Young snowball on this LeBlanc were 2 really big reasons, in my opinion, why Fear just won this game as hard, or why DSG won this game as hard as they did.
Well, we only get one of these matchups. We've heard, Manui and Perry against their old organization, but both teams really looking to start a positive streak for themselves. We'll see who ends up going more positive in this third and final game of our second series after a short little break.
Introducing the new Footlong Sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious Footlong Cookie, Footlong Pretzel, or Footlong Churro.
We're the LCS Challengers League. We're the future of the LCS.
We're Challengers League. We change our name and format every 2 years. I wonder what the next one's going to be.
We're Challengers League. Of course we play Best in Racing and Fearless Draft.
We're Challengers League. Of course we have pauses too, but ours are fire alarms.
We're Challengers League. Who should actually win here?
We're Challengers League. We play every single weekend, even if LCS takes off.
We're Challengers League. Our Twitch stream has a sub button.
We're Challengers League. FlyQuest, also #1 right now.
We're Challengers League, and we're taking over the Riot Games arena.